Hey guys, Spills here, and we're just going to poke into Parkitect for a second to check out this. This is my November-December, I think it's November-December Diorama challenge for Parkitect. This is unfortunately the first time that I've participated in the challenge, but man, did I have fun doing it. Maybe a little bit too much fun. The reason why I hadn't attended any of the others was because I was under the impression that it was vanilla only, and it was sort of like a vanilla challenge. And being so accustomed and attached to mods in this game, I just kind of put it off. I was informed that that was not the case and we're allowed to use mods, and so I went a little bit crazy and kind of used all of them. So this is my submission for this month, which got second place, which is very cool. I'm very, very thankful for that. And I just wanted to make a follow-up video to AstroTron's to kind of walk through the whole thing and talk about how it was made and kind of step you guys through my imagination a little bit. Obviously, it's a Christmas village. The idea is that it's a cut out of a mountain on a much larger park. Obviously, this would be a small chunk out of a huge park where there's lots going on, and there'd be more town and more things going on here. So that's why it looks like it kind of cuts off in the middle of it rather than it being a centered thing, because it is just a slice out of the pie. Let's open this back up so we can get some guests in here. There was just too many guests. Immediately somebody was just standing right side. I was camping. We'll open this back up too. There. Now it kind of moves. It was a crowded thing. There was people puking everywhere. It was nasty. There's no services or anything here. It's just a roller coaster and an entrance. So you get too many people here and there's, you know, that. So, okay. So from the beginning here, so there are a lot of mods being used here. I don't actually know how many I'm using because I just kind of became ignorant to it and went a little bit crazy. But in my, here, let's look at this. But in my mod selection, in my mod library here, I have a lot. I mean, like a lot. I use so many mods. That's half the list. We're still going. It just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. It's pretty much all props. There are a couple mechanic differences in there, like the build tool and whatnot, but for the most part, it's just a ridiculous amount of buildables. And all of them put together, you can use in different ways to make different things. Not everything has to necessarily be exactly what it's for. You can use things outside, as long as you use your imagination a little bit. Okay, so where to start? The diorama itself is actually very basic. It's just a path. It comes in, squiggles around, goes to a park entrance, or go to a ride entrance, and then that's it. There's no other rides. There's no shops or stalls or staff or anything like that. So it's hardly really a functional park as much as it is just a showcase for the roller coaster. Everything around it is basically just a decoration. If you hide scenery, there we go. It's basically everything. There's the path and the roller coaster, and then basically the entire park is scenery. It's kind of funny, actually. Lots and lots of props, lots of surfaces, lots of different polygons. So the houses, I loaded up a different map. I made a little flat map with snow out here, and I made all these houses and decorated them on the grid and made blueprints out of each of them first. The reason I did this is because it's insanely difficult to add all these decorations at an angle, and I wanted a lot of the houses to be off of the grid and at custom angles. So the houses were made basic first, and then they were decorated afterwards, and they're all made squared up to the grid and then saved as blueprints. And all of these houses are based off of a miniature village kit that I found on Amazon. I used that as a base. Kind of started there with inspiration and worked from there. So this is actually a little kit that you can buy, which is kind of neat. Oh, there's a scenario editor now. Okay, cool. We'll just do this. All right, now we're back and we're in the scenario editor now, so there's no guests. We'll go through some of this finer details without worrying about them walking around. So now I've loaded up the map, and I've basically got an empty blank map with my houses that I've made, my theme that I've decided, and a roller coaster. And I apologize, but I don't remember the name of the person who made the roller coaster. Otherwise, I would credit it. I forget his name. I can't find it. My apologies. But other than that, it was just a free-for-all. I didn't really come in here with a predetermined plan of how everything was going to go. I just kind of threw down some buildings. And if I remember properly, I actually threw down these buildings kind of roughly and then left and went into the other map, and I made them properly and then came back and replaced them. Because I did get the idea to put the houses here first and then go into the flat ground map, and I made them and came back in here and placed them where the first ones were. They all match, because there was a point early in this map's development that these were just, the houses were a mess. They were unfinished and they didn't match and they weren't decorated. And trying to decorate them on the angles like this is just, it just isn't. You have to go over there and finish their blueprint completely and then come over here and added them with all their decoration and everything's already there. And then some of these little snowmen and the presents and things, those were added after the fact, and that's fine because they're unique. But having to add all these things at an angle and match their angles together is pretty insane. So that was done with the blueprint. Also, these, just to get this right out of the way, I did not place all these lights individually. This is, what is this? A really relatively new mod that I came across right before making this. Actually, I don't know if it's new to the game. It's just new to me. I hadn't seen it before, which is this, Scenery Essentials has this Christmas stuff here, which I had never seen before. And oh no, this wasn't the new mod. This down here, this one was. Where was that? Scenery Essentials has been around. My mistake. This is where is that? We will look for gift. Jewel tie decorations. This is a newer mod that was relatively unknown that I found right before making this that happens to have Christmas stuff in it, which is where I got the Santa Claus and all that. It just has a few things, but they're very useful, like the sled. And I suppose there's more to it than that. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. That is a relatively new mod, but I might be thinking of multiple things. This here, this do not sign in a bush, is actually a reference to a meme that I find absolutely hilarious. Do not. It is a real life thing that actually happened. But these, I just wanted to inform everybody that I didn't place all of these individually. All of these things down here weren't placed individually. This is one pre-decorated border thing, and you can get this in a variation that's either lit or not. And so all of these lights that were over here, this is also, I believe, a blueprint and that I made. Yes, and so I only had to make the one, and then I just kind of placed these all over the place, and you can use the tool to place them however you wish. And so it didn't take as long as it seems. I did design the one initially, which took a few minutes, and then placing them, obviously, but it was only probably a couple of hours of work to do the whole thing. The entrance, I was really, really indecisive about. I originally had decided to do a building here. I wanted you to come out of a building like this, and it was going to be kind of cut in half, almost like the building was off the map somewhere, and you walked through it and then came out of here. But it was very close to the deadline, and I still had nothing here, and so this is kind of just what I went with. It's just nice looking, and that's it. It wasn't supposed to be anything too much. But the whole point here was just to kind of decorate the living daylights out of everything, cover everything in snow, and then litter the place with tiny little details all over the place. There's like the do not sign, and there's this peeking gnome right here. And then you got a snail. Some things are like the snail. They're just out of context for no reason. There's some birds. Is that underground? Yes, okay. There is an orca coming out of the pond. That makes no sense. Why would there be an orca in the pond? That pond is too small. And that's why it's entertaining, because it makes no sense. It makes you think, it's out of context. And it just keeps going. Like, you can go way in here. And there's a snowman that has a guitar and a hat. He's got a gun. And is he here for a reason? Why is he looking at the orca? What happened here? Is he okay? I don't even remember doing this. See, this is what happens. I've made so many of these little snowmen that they're starting to appear on their own now. There are so many. I should count them and find out how many there are. Let's see, any details here? We will go through pretty much the entire map. There's a nest up here that has a snowman doing something. He's doing something nefarious. Who knows? He might be giving this gift. He might be taking it. That's the problem with the little snowmen in this little map's lore here, is that nobody knows what their intentions are. They're all very random. Some of the snowmen are extremely kind and they're very generous and they keep giving things and gifts, and others just steal and they take and destroy. You see, this one has drinking too much and he's now throwing up. He's just gotten into this and he doesn't even know what it is. That's what the helicopter crash at the top is here. There was no bodies found. There was no casualties. There was no nothing found. Just a helicopter with damage and little snowmen everywhere. So there was only little snowmen that were found at the crash site, and no one knows. No one has any true answers. It's just a mystery. Oh, what happened here? This owl looks like it was placed kind of like this. Let's fix that. We need to be, you get his foot to be intersecting, kind of like clipping with the surface of that, kind of like it's inside the snow a little bit. Rotate so he's parallel with the branch. We'll have to bring him back a little bit. That should be, that's a bit better. He would be down in the snow a little. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. We got little snowmen over here that have pushed this crate. It looks like they've actually done other crates that are down here. They're just pushing things off the cliff. I don't know if they're curious and entertained or if they're being told to do this. There is a gnome nearby though. And the gnomes, every time that there's something nefarious happening, there's a gnome. We got down here too. We got my name. I signed this map with my name, and the snowmen are stealing it. They've hired a pigeon. And there's a gnome. This one's looking over like he's gonna noticing that something is going on. There's a random cat. I don't know where that cat came from. I think that there are a multitude of hidden cats as well. I love doing things like that. So it's more of a I Spy than a diorama. There's some more snowmen climbing all over everything. It's not safe. There's no OSHA here. More gnomes. I did do a little bit of the interior here to get some kind of something when you're looking in. I did intentionally. Originally, I had planned on doing full interiors, and in the future, I probably will. So when you peek in there, you see all that detail. It's just like, why? It's great. This is Dumblegull. He is a signature of mine. I put him in every single map. His hat's on wrong. There you go. He's really wrong now. There we go. Well, we'll get to that later, I think. We'll fix that. That's a weird angle. That might be all right. There we go. Okay. Dumblegull's fine. He should be hidden somewhere in basically every map that I make. Here's an igloo that has been... It's actually been repurposed into a nightclub by the gingerbread men, but I forgot to put the lights in it. It's supposed to look like there's lights coming out of it. And it's a snowman nightclub, but there's no indicator of that right now. So it's just a room that they're going into. We've got, let's see, can we miss anything over here? We're still in the entrance, kind of hopping around all over the place. There is a bicycle here, and there's a bicycle somewhere else too. And they're left laying about because it's supposed to reference the fact that on the roller coaster here, it does say no bicycles. And this isn't an upwards trail. This is supposed to mean do not bring your bicycle on the roller coaster, because it just makes it's just hilarious. Like, why would you even do that? Who had to be told that there was no bicycles allowed on the roller coaster? Like, why would that sign be there? What happened in order to make that a thing? See more. This guy's actually sliding down this, and they're all climbing all over the roller coaster and everything. Back to here though, we don't want to miss anything. We've got this snowman that looks like he's gonna drop some kind of mixtape. I don't really know what I was going with there. And there's a little snowman that's mimicking him, which is hilarious. This is what the little snowmen do. They just all over the place doing everything. Here's Santa. He's got a doggo. And there is a hidden snowman in there. Who knows what he's up to? There's a Minecraft coal block, because that's what people get. Is there's the coal. This snowman has a cookie. This snowman stole some gifts and some money. I thought about putting a gnome in here with him. That seemed like it would be a good idea, but I was happy with this, so I just left it just the way that it is. There's snowmen playing with the gifts underneath, which there are lots that have been unwrapped, and they're just being played with. Who knows who they were for? The snowmen have them now. There's also some sort of operation happening here. I couldn't decide. I actually don't know what they're doing because I couldn't make up my mind. Are they taking the star or are they putting it up? I kind of wanted to think that they were putting it up there, but who knows? This guy's just on the side here. There's a ton of ornaments. These are all little tiny trinkets from different mods that have been shrunk down as ornaments. Lots and lots of different things. There's a giant teddy bear sitting up here. There's also, I thought that, yeah, there's a guy up on this roof, and there's also a dude on this one as well, way up here. I thought about having a guy in this bin. I don't think I did that though. There was supposed to be a dude down there in the bin. Maybe I'll add him later. I don't know. Maybe not. This is pretty much done, so I might just leave it. Nothing over there. Just a barbecue, garbage bag, just some evidence of things. We got a catapult with a snowman in it, and this snowman has a sword and he's looking right at the rope, and this snowman appears to have a hat that gives him some sort of authority over the project. It looks like he knows what's going on, but I'm not sure if he is aware that this is about to happen. Where he'll go, I don't know, but this is they're always getting into stuff. This is the more snowman. This has looked over here into this telescope. I don't know if you can see anything because it's kind of in the way there, but they did manage to scoot this garbage can over. Piles of snow everywhere. There's a random amp. I was going to do something with that. The gnome is up to something. I don't know what. I don't know what the gnome is going to do. I don't trust him. As a present, this is something that I like to do where I put a cluster of props in a square and it kind of overlaps it a little bit and hides it, and the people will walk through this. I did this with boxes once in another one of my maps where I had them walk through a maze of boxes. Now they're walking around the tree. So we got the back of the house now where we have, it was funny that Astro actually joked about kind of thinking that they were spawning from here because there were so many of them. I had not thought of that. I just was putting them around everywhere, and maybe so. Maybe that's what's happening here. They're coming out of, maybe it's this fridge or something. I'm not sure, but this is, however, in my mind, where they were kind of like starting. I hadn't specifically thought of them being created here, but I was thinking of them beginning their journey here. And so they're receiving like their initial instruction, go out into the world and do this, and most likely none of them are listening. I don't even think they understand anything. They do become intelligent as they grow, and then they try to teach each other things, but they can really only communicate in this stage. In this stage, these little snowmen are just crazy little monsters that get into everything. Who knows what they're going to do? So they're more or less just captivated by the sound rather than listening to being told what to do. So they're just going to go out into the world and, do this. Here, lots of them have found a half pipe, or maybe they made it. Maybe the gnomes made it. I don't know. But they've somehow figured out how to mimic the lifestyle and culture, and they've started it all on their own here in the corner. They found a sled. Those ones might not actually be hurt as bad as those other guys, but this isn't going to end well. You can see that they can kind of notice each other and give each other ideas and copy each other, and it usually doesn't end well. Here, there's been some kind of fight to the death with the snowman. This was just a hilarious thing because I like to make use of things that I find, and there was this prop that allows you to create people. You got different faces you can use, so I blew one up and made it white. And I was like, oh, it's like a snowman head, and I thought it was hilarious. And then like the next thing I found was swords and axes. So I was like, whatever. There was a snowman thing. My creativity and morbid humor will oftentimes overwrite what might be appropriate. So some people are like, oh, that's grim, and I just think it's hilarious because it's just a snowman. It is a little bit grim, but I think it's kind of funny too. We got a snowman with a sombrero. This was one of the first extra snowmen that was put in because I had the idea of putting hats on snowmen. That was it. That was the only original idea. I'm gonna have a whole bunch of snowmen with hats on. I had found that there was a lot of hats, and that turned into then little snowmen doing things, which was more funny than snowmen with hats. So there are snowmen with hats, but there's also little snowmen everywhere. We got a snowman up here that is upset that he has been separated from his present. I'm sure he'll figure out how to get it down. He's a wizard. He'll figure it out. These guys are up here vibing in the glow. And then we head up the mountain. We've got the ice caves down here at the bottom, which is actually in and out. There's in and out up there. I believe there should be, yeah, there's a little, you can't really see it, but there's a little bit of a mist that should be sitting in front of both of these. There's like a little bit of like a icy fog right before you go in there. There is like skulls and bones frozen in there. Like it's just that it's not a good place, but you're going to go in there anyway. You're stuck on the roller coaster. Have fun. There's a gem mine where what used to be this little guy's hanging out, checking it out. Pickaxe. Somebody was doing something. There's a little snowman we looked at earlier. Doing a slide. And there is on this side a little bit of a mountain trail, and it goes up, and it has it's hard to see because everything is snowed on. That's the idea. It goes up and takes a fork right here. You can go left or right. And if you go left, you can go up this or up here or whatever, past all the crows, our little snowmen, past the big log with the roller coaster coming out of it. Well, one of them, there's two. And there's a cave here, and this cave has all kinds of nasty bad things in it. There's bones and a giant snake and a scary face and little snowmen that are curious. They're probably gonna head in there and become the bones. I don't know. A random fox just up there being. And among the trees, you go up here, and there is a spider, kind of a log thing. There's a bunch of spiders that live here. And there's such a spider problem that somebody came up here and put a do not enter sign and said, like, just stay out of this. There's no need for anybody to come up here. There are seriously giant spiders everywhere. There's an egg sac. Like this spider has a bird. Like it's just crazy. But you go into this big log, which is just it's just a log tunnel. It even says it's a tunnel. That's cool. I thought I was being creative. Oh well. But if you look closer over here, around on the inside of this log, there's a little tiny snowman over here that's exploring, and there is a really, really big spider over here in the cave. And you head straight down into there. There's little spiders and stuff everywhere, webs that you got to go through. No choice, got to go through it. Got to go past the giant spider. There's a snowmobile that has crashed up here as well. Who knows how far that fell from? Because the idea is that this is a whole big giant mountain. Who knows how tall this is? We've got a out of context chair. That's just all that was. I'm going to put a chair in the back just to make people think, what's that for? Like, who knows? It's a contemplation zone. There's a safe. It's open. Clearly there was a crime. We've got a random bridge up here. And then disconnected from everything is this peak that has this shack actually that's chained to the top of this tree, and it's hanging like literally by the tree, all decorated. And is there anything inside of it? I don't even remember. Covered in vines, and there's a little snowman in there, and there's one flower and a messed up chair. It's just some stuff. Just who knows? Why would that even be there? Goats. You know why goats would be there. It's a mountain. Little snowman. You never have too many of them. There are so many. I wonder if there's 100. Maybe not. Maybe, actually. I don't know. This guy proving the Darwinism of the small snowmen. They learn one way or another. There's a porta potty. It's not actually a porta potty. It's an outhouse up here. And I did this on accident. I kept it in there because I thought it was really eerie. But there is an alien inside the outhouse, and it's fit in such a way that his face is like right up against the little hole there. And I just thought that was the most eerie thing ever, and so I kept it there. It's like, I wonder if anyone will notice that. There's an alien in an outhouse. Sounds like a really bad movie. So bad it's good. Next to the crash here, we've got snowmen that are in a canoe. How they got it up there, who knows? Where they're headed, I don't know. Can they control it? I doubt it. They might actually be able to like get lucky and go right down through here. And if they manage, they can get right down here if they really wanted to. At this point, everything was pretty much done. I was building, and I was like, you know what I didn't include in this is a gingerbread house. There's no gingerbread house. And so I squeezed one in the woods right here. I moved a couple trees around and put in a gingerbread house. It's kind of cool, kind of not. It's all right. There's a gnome, which means that nothing good is happening here, and there's a shifty looking snowman with a gift that's luring some other snowman into the quite ominous red glow from within. And the reason why it's ominous is because if you were one of the people that load this map up and happen to peek inside this house, you'll notice there is a giant snowman inside here, full of bones. Who knows what goes on in there? It's pretty self-explanatory. There is just, it's a Christmas village that is, it looks like a happy, fun Christmas village from the outside. All the celebration happening, all the lights and everything, but underneath, around every corner, underneath every surface, not even deeply, is, I'm not sure what the word is. It's not necessarily tragedy. It's like something is slightly going wrong everywhere you look, but you have to look to see it. And this idea, this Christmas village with things going slightly wrong everywhere, is based off of, or influenced by, a D&D game that I played at one time. My friends and I played a game that was an independent game on Christmas. And it was just like this, where we went to a Christmas town and everything was just like going wrong and morbid and weird. And it just gave such a hilarious experience because it was both innocent and not at the same time. And it was just a unique, hilarious thing. On the back here, it is actually kind of cool that Astro did mention that he thought that it would be cool to have a cave opening in the back. And believe it or not, that was the original idea. I did have the original plan. It wasn't original. It was halfway in-ish that I had made this mountain and decorated and everything. And I looked at this back here and I thought, man, I could do a really cool cave opening with like stalactites and like a water down here, and it could go way in, and you could see the roller coaster like dipping in and out of it. And I had the whole thing planned out, but I didn't give myself enough time to do that. If I had thought of it at the beginning and kind of shaped the map around it and worked with it the whole time, it probably would have worked. But it was too late into the project when I had that idea. And so I just said, you know what, I'm not gonna bother with it. It is unfortunate that it didn't include that. I had the idea of having lots of colors, of purples and reds inside there. Lots of glowing and lots, even way more ideas for like caves off to the side and creatures coming out of them, and there could be all kinds of like mining things down there. It was a huge opportunity for lots of cool decoration. It would have been half the map, but I didn't think about it in time, and I cared more about having a solid finished product than just trying to scrape together everything I could think of. And so I decided against it. Maybe in the future there'll be another one. I can still do that, definitely, because I will have more Parkitect to play in the future. So that's definitely an idea that I can catalog for another map, if anything. But that's pretty much it. I say that's it. That's quite a lot, but that is it. That's all of it. That is every single detail all the way around the map. We're now caught up to where I am when I was creating it, where I was just doing this, where I was just kind of scrolling around and I would see something and be like, oh, I'll add something there and then move on. Kind of almost like a walking around it, changing and adding. And it got to the point that I was like, there's nothing more that I can add that will change how it feels, how it works. But there is a Minecraft snowman here. There's one. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. So yeah, I know it's Christmas themed and I know it's the end of January and everything, but I wanted to give Astro enough time to come out with this video and talk about everything, which I'm very appreciative of. But that'll be all from me for now, so I hope you enjoyed my creation. I certainly enjoyed all the other submissions that Astro went over. Every single one of them was inspiring in some way. Always one of my favorite things ever to see other people's creations. It's very cool. Especially Redfield's Plunder Pirates. The submission that got first place was very solid build. If you guys want to check out the rest of them, I'll leave a link down below, but they're all on AstroTron's channel. I do play Parkitect occasionally, so more Parkitect content could show up in the future. Let me know if you like it. Might be more inclined to add more sooner. I do have other maps that we can go over, and we'll be making more in the future. But yeah, thanks again, and happy building!